love him to death, but bro,
And he been on the
God
show
bless
and
you,
everything.
man.
Yeah.
God bless you. But I just wanted to finish off for everybody that's watching. Please go to blackwestchester.com. The latest article is George Lattimore was asked a question. Well, were all Muslims members of Hamas? And he refused to answer. And I'm writing this article because he brought me into this discussion on the Facebook page. And y'all could go to the Facebook page. The Facebook page is Westchester Black Political Conference. But also I have the screenshots here because I'm very transparent. And when I decide to have a conversation. So the thing is, there was a post that used I believe it was NBC video, and put George on front of it, questioning George about the actions against the people of Palestine, because now that they're blowing up homes and residents, so now the people can't even come back. The people that are displaced by the war, they can't even come back. So the question was, does George support this? And if he's not going to denounce it, then he's Genocide George. And why Genocide George? Because the International Court of Justice ruled that there were a high possibility of genocidal acts, and they demanded
by Israel.
By Israel, they demanded Israel to refrain and also make records and report back in 30 days. So the title on genocide is backed by the International Court of Justice, one of the highest international courts that we have in society. So the question to George was, do you agree with that?
Well,
hold on. Do you agree with it? And do you believe that all Muslims are part of Hamas?
Well,
George refused to answer. He said that these were attack pieces. Instead of answering a simple question. No, not all Muslims are part of Hamas. We have Muslims in Westchester County that are police officers, that are correction officers, that are doctors, that are EMS, that give work to the community of Westchester and CD 16. And you have the audacity not to say that not all Muslims are part of Hamas. That's like saying all black people are in gangs. You have to, if we're going to acknowledge October 7th, and I make it clear here, we denounce what happened on October 7th.
Absolutely.
But we also have to denounce the ongoing attacks, the ongoing murders, the ongoing bombing of hospitals, the ongoing bombings of mosques and Christian churches in Palestine. And the fact that the International Court of Justice called it what it was, genocide. And if you're going to denounce, if you're going to stand up for the hostages, we stand up for the hostages. But you also have to show some humanity for the people of Palestine that have been killed, that had nothing to do with this. The children are not members of Hamas. See, we have to call it what it is, because 40%, over 40% of the money that he's getting is coming from groups like APAC that says community first, community before party. See, when black people say community before party, they make us apologize. And they say that's undemocratic. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't be pro-black. But when they say it, nobody says anything. See, we got to call it what it is today. Because right now, people that are listening, they are re-registering Republicans into the Democratic Party. You don't believe me? Just Google it. You don't have to take Black Westchester's word for it. Other news outlets have already reported it. They're brazen in what they're doing. They have websites saying it. So this is Operation Oppress Black and Brown People's Votes in CD 16. And he's not denouncing that. And the fact that he dares not to say not all Muslims are part of Hamas. So it's disrespectful. He's disrespectful. And then what he's going to do, he's going to get some of these Negroes and stand around and just sell their soul. This is about humanity. This is about our soul. This is about people dying. Not just on one side, both sides. We're not going to be one-sided in this. We don't support Hamas. We don't support no type of terrorism. But we respect the loss of life on both sides. And if you're not showing that respect, you shouldn't be representing the people, all people in CD 16.
Well, before last week's show, I wrote an article, prelude to Sunday's show, addressing the attempted GOP coup of the Westchester Democratic Party. I put all the links to all the organizations in the story link so you can read about all the organizations that are telling all their members for Republicans to change their party affiliation to the Democratic Party, and specifically with the agenda to vote Bowman out. I have to keep saying that this is bigger than Bowman. This is not a Bowman re-election bid speech or anything. Some people might just think George is a better candidate, then they should vote for him. But the Republican Party should not be able to interfere on the Democratic primary. The Democrats should vote for whoever they're going to vote for, and then that's the person. You know what I'm saying? So for those organizations, one APAC to say they put in 1.6 million, and another one saying they putting all this money in, and they all, including the and if you go to the story, that all the links are there, including a New Rochelle synagogue. One of the members sent an email to all the members in the synagogue, telling all the Republican members again to change their party affiliation to Democrat with a specific task of voting Bowman out.
And these are, and let me make something clear too. This is not a smear campaign. This is not an attack, as he calls it. Y'all could go to the website. Y'all can see the article. I put the screenshots up. I'm transparent. So this is not it's easy for them to say a smear campaign to try to get people not to listen to what's going on. We're not the only ones reporting it. And they're bold about it. So when we call it out, we're the ones carrying a smear campaign. And then you get people that get on the thread. And this is, let me make this clear. This ain't in support of Jamal, but you get people that get on the thread, they don't even know what the hell they fucking talking about. They have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah, one person put up there that Gaza's blockade blocking the stuff coming into Palestine.
Exactly.
It's not Gaza that has a blockade.
Blockade. Exactly.
Israel, as one of the demand to get the hostages back, Israel has blocked all aid and humanitarian aid and all this stuff from going into Palestine. There's oil, fuel, food, humanitarian aid, all of that stuff. So I'm like, yo, if you're gonna, at least if you're going to make comments, know what you're talking about. Because to say Gaza is put a blockade for the humanitarian aid to get into Palestine, that is actually not true. They're not. They're the ones being the blockade is against them because they have hostages, and until they and until they give up all the hostages, they're not going to give up the blockade. That's what that I mean. Those are the facts. You know what I'm saying? So, like, listen. So, everybody is scared to be called anti-Semitic. So what happened, as Damon said, on October 7th by Hamas, the attack was horrendous. Let me just say that again. What happened on October 7th, the attack from Hamas was horrendous. The attack on Israel and the innocent people that were killed, that was horrendous. In retaliation, there are equally innocent people in Palestine that are being killed. This is not anti Semitic. It is not anti Semitic to call this out. If you are human, if you are Christian, if you are whatever you want to call yourself, to only have empathy and compassion for one side, innocent people getting killed, and not having the same compassion for the innocent people on the other side, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what side you reside on, what process, what candidates, whatever. There are innocent people on both sides being killed. So they say Hamas is hiding in tunnels. Hamas is hiding among innocent people. Well, that's when you go in. Israel's supposed to have one of the best militaries. You go in, some hand to hand, some intelligence, and operations on the street, and you find ways to get them without killing innocent people. So what the international court is talking about, the killing of all these innocent people, the bombing of hospitals. Hamas don't run a hospital. The bombing of churches and synagogues. Hamas might hide in it, but they don't run the church or the synagogue. You're killing innocent people. People's houses were being bombed, and they were hiding these places of worship, and those places are getting bombed. Innocent people, children are dying. They show the babies that need medical attention that are dying because the hospital was bombed and they can't get medical attention. I don't know how you cannot feel for them. This does not make me pro Hamas. Stop with the rhetoric. And if you're going to call out the atrocities of one side and not call out the atrocities by the other side, then you're being a hypocrite. Now, I haven't said much about George Latimer other than he's being sponsored by all of these groups. But George, this is my word. This is AJ Woodson to George Latimer. Yes, there are there are a lot of Jewish people in Westchester County who have supported you for Senate and Assembly and all those other positions that you ever had. You are the county legislator. The makeup of the county, there is a Palestinian community in this county, and there's a heavy Muslim community in this county. And to only take the side of Israel without empathy of the Palestinian and Muslims in this county, who some have family members that they have lost due to this because of Israel's attack. that makes you a hypocrite. And
let
I'm
me
and,
let
and,
me
and I, and I want to no this way. I want to be specific in my words. I'm not talking about all that rhetoric and all that other stuff that you tried to say or whatever. I'm not. I'm putting out facts. You can't have empathy for one side and not the other.
exactly,
You can't call
exactly,
out one side and I
exactly.
don't care. I don't care where you get your money from. You feel like that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, but own it. Like don't say, "Oh, this is not about Israel," because we know you know politics. You're a career politician. You've been this is what your 30 years. You don't get there that long without making some kind of deals, and you take some people's money and you got to answer their calls when they call. I mean, that's the way it works. You're not new to this. So
Exactly.
so so for me to say this, and again, this has nothing to do with whether Jamal wins re-election or not.
No, this
This
is
is my biggest thing is allowing allowing the GOP to come in and as a Democrat, allowing the GOP to come in, put money into your campaign so you can unseat another Democrat. This is supposed to be undemocratic. Like I used to do stories about certain things, and a lot of y'all would tell me that's not the Democratic way. That's not how the
yeah.
Democratic Party
But wait,
does. The
remember
Democratic Party is
Andre?
supposed to
Remember
support each other. This is
remember
the
Andre?
right,
Remember Andre took the Republican line just to stay in the election. He was still a registered Democrat, and they put him out to slaughter.
right. But this is not the Democratic way.
Exactly.
Democrats supposed to support Democrats.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and then and then and then and then lastly, I get text messages. Well, it was okay for Jamal to primary Engel. You know what? Jamal ran a decent campaign, but what cost Engel his seat was his hot mic and his comments, and that made a lot of people that even supported him say, "Oh, he don't care about black and brown people." That's what cost him the election.
Because he said so.
He said it out his own mouth.
He
It was
said
a
so.
it was a hot like he basically came to the Diaz Ruben Diaz Senior and Junior. They were putting on a function, and he wasn't on schedule. He wasn't on program. He said to let him speak. They said they got a whole schedule together. They will get him in where they can get him in. He came back again, asked him to let him speak. He said, "I told you." He then Ingalls said out of his own mouth, if it wasn't for the election coming up,
I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't even be. So, and then Ruben Diaz was like, wait, what did you say? And then Ingalls said it louder so you can hear it even better on the mic. So that's enough of that. That's enough of that. But you know what I'm
But
saying?
listen,
And then
listen.
wait. Lastly, and there are some people, and this is true. I don't care what you want to label me. There are some people in there's some Jewish people in Westchester. I didn't say all who are still salty that he lost that race to Bowman. So they want to do anything to get him out of office.
Yeah.
That also is true. Multiple things can be true. What happened, what Hamas did, was horrendous. That is true. What Israel is doing in retaliation and the innocent people being lost on that side, that is true. Both things can be true. It's not one or the other, not multiple choice. So let's just get, when we're going to have arguments, if you're going to have fights and we're going to have debates, at least know what you're talking about. Let's argue the let's I will welcome anybody to have any debate anywhere in Westchester, any organization to continue this conversation, but let's come with the facts. Let's stop. I know it's silly season. I know people draw lines and make temporary enemies over permanent enemies over temporary situations. Every time there's an election, I'm on this side, you on that side. We can't speak no more. That's bullshit. But I know it's that time of year again. I know that's what's going down. But miss me with the bullshit though.
Listen.
That's
this is
all I have to say on the situation. And if y'all don't realize the GOP is trying to take over your party and y'all allow it, shame on you, and you get what you deserve.
I'm gonna show you. I'm
And
gonna
that's all I
show
have to
you.
say. And I'm about to be out. But go ahead.
I'm gonna show right now what it's all about. Right? And this was from an organization called Jews for Peace. And this is a developer. This is a developer. And this was the flyer that was going around. A house on the beach is not a dream. And this is posted by a Jewish organization that thinks that this is disgusting. It's about taking their land. It's about taking their land. Now I'm going to show y'all something else because y'all might think, oh, good old Damon just Damon just
Keep talking. I'll
talking.
be right back. Keep talking.
Yeah, Damon is just it's just talking foolishness. Let me bring up another one. Let me just bring up another one for you because a lot of times people don't want to believe black press, right? They don't think that we're intelligent enough. But here, look, here we go. Look at this. This is the Wall Street Journal, everybody. This is the Wall Street Journal. Israel's far right plots a new Gaza without the Palestine. That's why they're destroying all the homes and hospitals and schools. So Palestinian people can't come back to because they're having a meeting. Look, it's packed. It's packed. It's packed. See, and this is what George Lattimore is supporting. And if he doesn't support it, then tell him to put out a statement that he doesn't support this. Put out a statement that he doesn't support it. This is what he's supporting. This is the Wall Street Journal. They're going after the land. And next week I'm going to go even deeper in it because not only that land is good, that land is rich in oil. See, but when you deprive somebody the right to take care of themselves, to have water, to have electricity, this is what's going down. So they can't even develop the technology to get the oil, but Israel can. And I don't want to hear anybody saying this is anti-Israel because then if you're saying it's anti-Israel, I'm just going to tell you you're anti-black because these are black and brown people over here. So call me that. I'm going to call you anti-black. And we could just go back and forth. But you're not going to stop us from educating our people on what's going on with international news so they could be educated voters because they have to understand, especially in District 16, what they're voting for. And this is what's going down. So we have to be really, really serious these upcoming elections because they're not just trying to take out Jamal, they're trying to take out all black, all over the country.
And I'm gonna tell you what, those redistricting lines, whatever gets done in CD16 and the redistricting is going to affect several other districts in this in New York,
Right.
and control of the House and all that. But I just want to say in closing again. So real talk, man. They've been fighting over this land since the days of the Bible, since before Jesus, like BC, like way before the days of Jesus. The days they've been fighting for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. They've been fighting for this land, and it's not going to get solved. And if America is not careful, Israel is going to drag America into a world war, and there's already countries saying that there's some of the actions by Israel is genocide, and the American is co-signing it because they are funding it.
Well, ain't some of the people saying it. The international court said
Right, that's what I'm saying. No, but other
it.
countries. They know there's other countries. That's what I'm saying. There's other.
And not only that, they're in court in California, in federal court, suing Joe Biden and the Biden administration for supplying the money and the weapons to Israel to commit the genocide that the International Court of Justice said they had committed.
And people got mad at Congressman Bowman and other members of the squad and other for uh, demanding some kind of accountability on what the money to Israel is being spent on. And everybody's like, oh, he's against sending money to Israel. But y'all not saying nothing about all the Republicans that are calling for some kind of accountability on what all the money being going to Ukraine is at the same time, and not wanting to send money to Ukraine, just sending a blank check without there being some conditions and all of that. So how do you have it both ways? Like,
well, not only that, how can black people walk into a voting booth and vote for a candidate that don't support reparations, but supports giving money to other countries? Our tax dollars. See. Look, if these organizations want to raise money for Israel, let them raise their money and let them send all the money they want to Israel and Ukraine and all that other crazy stuff. But don't send my tax dollars. Don't send the tax dollars that I got to work hard and pay taxes, and then my tax dollars got to go over there. You shouldn't have control. You shouldn't have control of that. Why is there a thumbs up bubble in my joint? What the hell just happened?
I don't know. I was
like, where that thumbs up bubble come from?
In the immortal words of the late great Tupac Amari Shakur, they got money for war but can't feed the poor.
Exactly. Dude, I
feel those are my last words. Last words.
Exactly. Listen, man, I'm out, man, because see, I'm getting upset because there's a clear double standard. And unfortunately, black people are playing a role in the double standard. We are some willing and some unwilling participants in the double standard. And we have to wake up and say we're not going to partake in this foolishness anymore. We want the same. And if you don't give us the same, if you don't treat us the same, if you don't have the same energy and justice for black people, then we're not going to vote for you. You had Kenneth Chamberlain's father was called the N-word by police, and he couldn't get a politician out there to denounce it. You get a swastika on a dumpster or side of a store, and it's standing room only. And we haven't seen George in 12 years at the candlelight vigil for Kenneth Chamberlain. But he's out there. I didn't even know he could talk like that when that swastika. I didn't even know he had that much energy on the mic, because I ain't never seen him like that. Not when a black man's killed. We want the same. We want the same zeal that you have, George, for our issues.
And not just George. All those people that are behind that and putting that money up, that want us to be compassionate to and have empathy to all that they're going through and the atrocities that they face. We looking for that too. We're looking for that too. Yo, with that, I'm out. Yo, shout out to
Yeah, I'm out.
those who tuned in. Shout out to Teresa Douglas. Shout out to Christopher Richards. Shout out for Eileen McDuffie. Shout out to Latanya Baptiste. Sorry, girl. Sorry, sister. Shout out to Yadira Ramos, Mayor Yadira Ramos Herbert. Shout out to Phil Reisman. Shout out to Kenneth Chamberlain Jr. Shout out to Sharon Bynum, Washington. Sandy Barnaby, Brian McCoy, Patty Dukes, Nadine McKenzie, Daniel B. Serrano. Oh, what's up, my brother? From Harlem. There was several others. I said Phil Reisman already. Marvin Church. Everybody who tuned in for the first panel, and stayed for the second part. Henry Wilson of Wycop, Osiris Imhotep, and everybody else who tuned in. If I didn't say your name, I apologize. Tony Old School Mitchell, Harold McCoy, and Reverend Margaret Coleman of the Yonkers NAACP. And everybody else who tuned in, that's just one of the lists from one of the pages we was on that I was able to see. This has been another episode of Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 2 of the new season. We here, man, 10 years standing, still giving you that real talk for the community since 2014. Until next time, peace. I see you.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it.